Good evening, folks. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm gonna ask you all to give me a thumbs up, right, throughout this presentation, just in response. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Awesome. And we can all see my screen, right? Awesome. Thank you for that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. As student continues to trickle in, I'll ensure to admit them through. But for the sake of our time, I am gonna start our enrollment orientation. All right. So thank you all for being here. My name is Dua Yang, and I am one of the general outreach specialists at CRC. Today we have our enrollment orientation. A little bit about our orientation. It is for active dual enrollment student. If you are a first-time new student, this is not the orientation for you. You will need to attend a first-time new student orientation through our orientation website. So make sure that you're attending the correct one. A little bit housekeeping before we begin. I will be covering a lot of materials, so highly encourage you to take notes. I won't be seeing the chats, or I won't be able to see the chat, so please jot down any questions that you might have. I will be asking questions or pausing to ask questions throughout the presentation. At this time, you may also ask your question as well. If you prefer to just write all your questions and save it till the very end, we do have time allotted at the end for you to ask questions too. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the agenda for today's presentation. All right. So for our orientation today, we're going to do a quick overview of the campus. So we're going to review the campus map. I'm going to highlight some important buildings that you'll need to know to be successful at CRC. We're going to review the Canvas and e-services, which are CRC platforms that you will also be using quite a lot your first semester. And then how to prepare for the semester. So we're going to go over some tips on how you can prep beforehand to ensure that you're ready before the start of the semester. And then we're going to review the academic calendar for spring 2026. So looking at those important dates and deadline for that semester. I will also be sharing support services for you all. So for you all to access as well. Again, these are support services that are free to our students and that you all can access. All right. So before we begin, if you haven't already, please sign in. I can also share the link again towards the end of this orientation before you leave here today. I think most of us have already signed in, but if you haven't already, please scan the QR code to sign in. As mentioned, a lot of the material that will be shared today, I will be sending additional information about these material to you through this email that you input into our sign-in sheet. This sign-in sheet will help us keep track of all of you who attended, but then again, will allow me to share additional resources and information as well. All right, so continue filling this out if you're still completing this, but I think most of us have already signed in, which is awesome. Thank you for doing that. One last thing before I continue is that please note that this orientation session is being recorded. We will be posting this orientation session on our CRC webpage for our students to access in case they do miss our orientation session today. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick overview of our CRC campus. I am going to start out with the CRC campus map. So this is a map of our CRC main campus. As you can see, we do have 360 parking, which is really nice. If you've been to our campus, it is very nice. It's almost like it's very park-like. With that being said, we do have semester and daily parking permits available for students who are planning to park on campus. So if students are taking online or in-person courses and is planned to be on campus pretty often. We highly encourage our students to purchase a semester parking permit, which is $41 for this spring semester. If you're only planning to be on campus once or twice a week, we also have $2 daily ticket machines that you can access and purchase the ticket for you to display on your dashboard. But just know that parking regulations are enforced 24/7. Okay. So again, if you're parking campus, just make sure you have some sort of ticket. Um, with that being said, you can access our map as well through our CRC webpage. When you access this map, you will see the abbreviated as well as the full name of the campus names. However, for the sake of our presentation, I did cut those out so you can have a better view of the map. I do also want to highlight some key buildings that will be important to you as a CRC student. And I'm going to go into more details about each of these buildings in a little bit. But those key buildings include the College Center, the library, Learning Resource Center, and Portable. All right. So the College Center, very important building. It's where we hold our admissions and records office. It also holds a lot of our support services, which can include the Veteran Resource Center, counseling, and business service office. We also have our Welcome Center and our College Center. Our Welcome Center is nice in that it's a small computer room that students can access and can just drop in. Our staff there are able to provide support for our students with a lot of, a lot of things, including application for CRC, financial aid application. They can answer any questions that you may have, connect you to the right resources or program. And the great thing is that they have student working there, so it's the students will be able to provide the one-on-one student support for you as well. We also then have the library. Of course, the library holds a lot of resources and services as well. They also include our support programs, which includes our Center of Inclusion and Belonging. That means they have Mikasa, Pride Center, Native American Resource Center, our Umoja, APITA. Those are our programs that support all of our students. But they also provide a lot of service regarding, citation, textbooks, library Chromebook that you can rent for the semester as well. The Learning Resource Center is our building that holds our Tutoring Resources Center. At CRC, we have math and writing, a math center and a reading and writing center, which is free to our student. It is drop-in, right? So students can access it. They also include online tutoring services, which I will go into more details towards the end when we talk about additional resources. Portable 48 is where we have our Hawks Care program. So this program provides a lot of basic needs to our students. And again, I'll go into more detail, but they provide resources like food, housing resources, laptop rental, shower access, and more. Another building I want to highlight is the Elk Grove Center. So this is a separate building off campus, about 10 to 15 minutes away from our main campus. It is right across Cosumnes Oaks High School, if you're familiar with the high school. It is a smaller campus with a smaller learning environment. However, they still provide the same access to academic and student support services. So when you're enrolled to courses and you see the location to be Elk Grove Center, just be aware that this is a separate location, not too far from here, but you'll have to drive or find some sort of transportation to get you there. All right. So I am going to pause here. Do we have any questions about what's been discussed so far before I talk about our CRC platforms? Feel free to unmute yourself. Give me hands up. No, we're good? Okay. Again, if you have questions, feel free to jot it down. And then towards the end, I'll be able to answer this question as well. All right, so e-services. Let's talk about e-services a little bit. So e-services is also known as your student account portal. It's where you're going to access all of your student account information. The way you access e-services is by going through our CRC homepage and clicking student login at the very top. When you click on student login, you'll see a lot of the CRC platform that you can access as a student, like Canvas, e-services, your Los Rios Gmail and Google Apps, and Service Central. If you haven't already, you should have created your login information using your ID number and then creating that e-service password. But this password and login information is also known as your single sign-on because this is the only single sign-on information that you're going to use for all your Los Rios platform. If you haven't already, again, you can always click on forgot password if you need to update your password or if you forgot your password or if you haven't created one just yet. By clicking the forgot password, that will take you to the password management page, which will give you instructions on how to create your password for e-services and, of course, the other platforms as well. Please note that the security answers to your security question from your application will be required. So an example would be this first question right here, right? These are the security questions that you select during your application process. They will need those answers for you to confirm that it is you trying to create this password, okay? And then for students who are logging into any of the CRC platform for the very first time, you should have been prompted by Okta to register. So I do want to talk a little bit about Okta. Okta is what we call our multi-factor authenticator. It is a tool that Los Rios use to verify students' digital identity. So that means that when you are registering for Okta, you're using a personal phone number and personal email. So every time when you sign into your account, they will send you a code to your phone number, which you will then input to ensure that it is you, the student, trying to log in and not somebody else. Again, this is to protect the student and their privacy and their information. So you will see this every time you log into Canvas, e-services, and your Los Rios Gmail. And of course, if you're a student who does not own a phone currently, or maybe you're having some phone issues, you're more than welcome to connect with the following email or phone number to get support and getting a bypass. Or you can also reach out to me or any of the outreach specialists to get support with that as well. I will be sharing my contact information at the very end, so you'll have to wait. But feel free to take a picture, capture any of these notes that you feel is relevant to you. This also goes with if, let's say, you have a new phone number or updating your number. We can also help you update that information as well. So again, feel free to reach out to us. All right. So once you get past all that, right? Once you log in, created your password, logging in, getting past Okta, and then get into your e-services, this is what your e-services homepage should look like. So your e-services homepage will have different tiles for you to click into, explore more information and resources within each of these tiles. But I do want to highlight some important tiles that I believe you should know going to your first semester. So I am going to highlight some of those. The first tile I do want to highlight is the enrollment announcement. This is a tile where you can see the enrollment appointment assigned to you. So an enrollment appointment is the day and time for when students can enroll into a course. This is not an in-person appointment, so students do not need to be here on campus. This is also where you can see the date for when the class schedule will be released for you to see and access what courses being offered for the current term. You can also see when the supplemental form is available for students to complete, which will activate or roll them over to the next semester. Another important tile is the task tile. This includes action items, to-dos, and tasks that students might have that might be preventing them from enrolling to courses. So if you do see like a number of like to-dos or holds, please be sure that you're removing these before the start of the semester so you can enroll into courses. For dual enrollment students, you will see the special admit hold. That one is okay. That one is for our CRC admissions team to let us know that you are a dual enrollment student. So that one's safe. The other tile you might see is the manage class. This is where students can search for classes, add, drop, and view the class schedule. And of course, we also have, our academic records tile. This is where students can request and view their transcript, their placements, and view final grades. Finally, we have our profile, which is where students can update their personal information like their name, address, pronouns, and phone number. So if you're in e-services, feel free to update this information. However, you can always do this at your own time as well. All right. Any question before we move on to Canvas? No? Okay. All right, so let's talk about Canvas. Canvas is also known as our online learning management system. It is essentially our digital classroom. It's where students can access their online courses and complete assignments. The way you access Canvas is very similar to other CRC platform. It will be through our CRC homepage and student login. If you do have a computer open, right, feel free to follow along, but otherwise just follow along with my presentation as well. But I'll be covering what the Canvas homepage look like. Once you sign in, again, you're going to sign in the same way you sign into e-services with a single sign-on login information. You should see your Canvas dashboard, which looks very similar to this. So as you can see on the left side, there are different icons for students to access to help them navigate to Canvas information and resources. I am going to highlight some of those. The first one is the account, which is where students can update their profile information and set up their notifications. The second arrow points to the courses icon, which is where students can see all their online courses. And then we also have the inbox as well as the help center where students can access Canvas tutorials and resources. When you access or when you get into your Canvas dashboard, let me go back one more slide. So what you see here, the CRC orientation and student services training, right? These are what we call Canvas shell. They're your digital classrooms. So if you're enrolled, for example, in this is 310, this might be labeled as BUS 310, which is the course that you can click into. When you click into one of those courses, you'll see the homepage to the course, which could look something like this. Just note that each instructor had their Canvas set a little bit different, but typically this is the setup, right? On the left side will be tabs that you can use to navigate the course. You'll see things like homes, announcement, syllabus, modules, grades. Other professors, for example, can have different things like a discussion board or assignments where you can click into and see all the readings and assignments that you need to complete. It is your responsibility as a student, if you are enrolled into an online course, to be able to access this and also review and know where everything is. If you have questions, of course, you can always reach out to your professor by finding their contact information through the syllabus. All right. Any question about Canvas before I move forward? Again, I won't be able to see the chat, unfortunately. So if you do have a question, feel free to unmute yourself or just raise your hand and then we can either check the chat or have you unmute yourself to ask those questions. Yeah, Alexander, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Will these slides be shared after the presentation, just for reference if we need to look back at it?
Yes. So these slides will definitely be shared. It will be recorded and then shared on the website for students to access again and reference, but also for students who were not able to attend today's session.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second here. All right. Any other question before I move on to talking about Los Rios Gmail? No? Okay, I think we're good. So I am going to continue. So Los Rios Gmail is another CRC, resource that students have access to. So when a student applies to CRC and is approved and receive their ID number, the ID number is what we use to generate this Gmail for them. So it's going to look something very similar to what you see here on the left side of this slide, where it's going to have your WID number at apps@losrios.edu. So whatever your ID number is, if it's W1234567, that's going to be the ID number, and then whatever you see at the end there. Again, to access this, it'll be through the student login again. When you click on Los Rios Gmail and Google Apps, there will be a long list of apps, but you can click into the Los Rios Gmail apps to access your Gmail account. All right. So a little bit about your Los Rios Gmail account, because it does have your ID, right? This is how students and professors and staff can also verify and identify who you are as a CRC student. This would be the email you use to communicate with the professors, other department staff, but it's also where you're going to receive a lot of important CRC information as well. It is very important that students check their email regularly and that you all build a habit in doing that. That's going to be very important when you come to college in general. With that being said, here are some tips to emailing your professor. So when you're emailing a professor, always identify yourself by your first and last name and your WID number. Always mention the course name and lecture number, because professor can be teaching multiple courses, right? So you want to identify the exact course that you're enrolled in. And then details and context to your question or issues. So what that means is that instead of saying like, hey, professor, I'm having trouble logging in, you can try, hey, I tried logging in using my WID number and e-services password, but I'm seeing an error message that says that I need like instructor permission to access the document. Can you provide me with guidance, or can you tell me what my next step is, right? This will help the professor know exactly what you're going through, so they can provide you with the support that you'll need without having to go back and forth through those emails. All right. Transitioning now to preparing for success. Again, some of the prep steps you can do prior to the semester to help you be successful. So some of those things include reviewing your class schedule, right? It's important to know where your classes are, how you're going to get to campus, so you know exactly where to go, so you'll be there on time. Again, review your Canvas. If you are enrolled in an online course, make sure you have access to your online course and know where the syllabus is, know how to contact your professor. And of course, read the syllabus. The syllabus is important because it does outline the class expectations, how assignments are going to be graded, what kind of assignments that you need to complete for you to meet the requirements for the course, the contact information of the professor, and so forth. So it contains a lot of important information about the course. Of course, you also want to review your course materials to ensure that you know what the assignment dates and deadlines are. If you have readings, know when these readings or assignments are due so you can pace yourself. So that's important for you to review as well. And then also get your Los Rios student ID. To obtain your student access card or student ID card, you can drop into our Welcome Center, which is located in our College Center building. As long as you're enrolled and you have a picture ID like a driver's license, passport, recent high school ID, this is going to help us verify who you are, and then we will be able to take your picture and give you the ID card right away. Our library ID card, or not library, the student access card is important for you to have for you to access library services, right? If you want to check out books. So make sure that you do get the ID card. But the great thing about having this card is that it also gives you local discounts around Sacramento as well, right? So make sure you have it. It's nice to have around. Other things you can do to help you prep for the semester is make sure you have a laptop and desktop. Alexander, I do see your hand, and I'll get back to you in a minute. But yeah, having a laptop or desktop, at CRC, we do have computer rooms for you to access our computer. When that's not available, we also have what do you call it? A Chromebook that you can loan for the semester through our library as well. So make sure you access that. It is free to all of our students. And then ensure that you have Wi-Fi or internet wherever you are. At CRC, you can access our Los Rios Wi-Fi. Again, you'll sign in using your e-services login information as well. But we also have resources for students seeking low and free internet plans as well through our CRC website. In addition to that, of course, as always, going to school, make sure you have your backpack ready with all the school supplies that you need for the class, and then familiarize yourself with the campus so you know where to go. All right. And I'm going to pause here. Alexander, I did see a hand.
I had a question about the ID cards. Are they free or is there like a fee to them?
They're free. So again,
Okay.
as long as student meets those requirements that I mentioned earlier, they just drop in, let them know that they want the ID card, provide verification, and if they're enrolled, then they should be able to take their picture right away and get the ID card. So make sure you look your best. All right. And then a few more things that you can do to help you prep is make sure you view the academic calendar. You do have access to this through our website as well. The link is also right there provided for you. This academic calendar has a lot of important dates and deadlines that is important for the spring semester. As you can see here, this is the deadline or the timeline for our full term courses. So for the last day for students to drop and enroll to courses is February 1st. Please make a note of that. February 1st will be the last day that students can drop a class without a notation on their record. Anytime after that, they will receive a W on their record, which stands for a withdrawn course. Having one is fine, but when you have a few of these W's, they can affect your GPA, which then can affect your future financial eligibility. So make sure that if you are going to drop courses, change your schedule. Make sure it's just before February 1st. Okay. It's also going to show important dates like final exams, last day of classes, and so. Yeah, Stephanie, I see your hand. What's up?
Hello. I'm a dual enrollment student, but can I still get the ID card for Consumers River College or no?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, dual enrollment, as long as you're a student, right? Whether you're transfer, what do you call it? Dual enrollment student, for first time new student, all students can get an ID card.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then any other question? And I'm sorry if I miss a hand anywhere. Feel free to just jump in, okay? All right. Important academic reminders. So I'm going to transition to talking about this. Again, feel free to ask question along the way or wait till the very end. So at CRC, we have a lot of resources for our student, including our care, support, and conduct resources. So this resource offers student support with issues with the following, right? So anything related to, issues with a staff member or office, a professor, maybe accessibility, health and safety, harassment, or discrimination, you can access our care support conduct resource, and we will be able to connect you with a staff to help you resolve this issue. Okay. Again, this is to protect our students, make sure you guys are safe. So make sure you access it if you feel the need to, okay? Again, these are the resources for different things like academic rights and responsibilities, discrimination complaint, any grievances. You can also find this resource through our webpage as well. The link was shared previously, but I will share this information again after our session and in like a post email. All right. And then as a reminder, every grade that you earn at CRC will be part of your academic transcript forever. It is important that, you pass all your courses and to meet what we call satisfactory academic progress, or also known as SAP. Meeting SAP will ensure that you're eligible for future financial aid. So that means that you must maintain a 2.0 GPA and take courses within your career goal, right? So making sure that you take courses that's outlined in your education plan and not just taking random PE courses throughout the whole semester, right? At CRC, as a student here, you also have student rights and responsibilities, and I do want to highlight some of those. Of course, every student has the right to a fully qualified faculty member, a clean, modern, and safe environment, and receive high quality counseling, academic advising, and so much more. And then as a student, you're expected to attend college regularly and participate in the, college activities. Commit to a level of effort needed to succeed and be successful in your college activities, and then contribute to keeping the environment safe and positive for other students as well. You can definitely find more information and about your rights and responsibilities through our website here. So highly encourage you to take some time to read it so you know what they are, okay? And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us for clarification. With that being said, we do have laws in place to protect our student as well, and that includes the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA. This is basically a law that protects the privacy and educational records of our student. So after a student turns 18 or attends a college of higher education, like our dual enrollment student, the right to the student's academic records transfer to the student, okay? And so we cannot share this information with anybody else unless you give us written consent. So that means if your parent or somebody you know comes to me asking for your information, unfortunately, I won't be able to provide them with that information unless you give me permission to. Okay, regardless of your age, especially if you are a dual enrollment student and you're enrolled into our institution, I cannot give that information away. Again, this is to protect our student and your rights to your privacy and your information. But if you have more questions or would like more information, again, this information will be sent through our post email at the end of orientation. As a reminder, we also have academic integrity. So want to remind everyone that academic dishonesty is not tolerated at CRC. So things like plagiarism and cheating is not allowed, right? There will be consequences for those who participate in these things. So we'll be kind of defining what those are for students to be aware of what plagiarism and cheating is. So plagiarism is basically taking anybody's words, sentence, organization, ideas from another source and making it their own without properly citing it or giving credit to that person. Cheating is very similar in that way. However, it's more deceptive and fraudulent, right? In the way that you you take this information and making it your own. As mentioned here too, all the things that you say and write, you're accountable for. So before you submit any assignments, right, make sure that you check it. You check your work. We do have a lot of resources on our campus and online as well to help you with citation, help you with submitting a paper and things like that. So make sure you access those resources so you're avoiding all plagiarism and cheating. And of course, last but not least, I do want to share additional resources with you that, again, you all can access for free as a CRC student. The first resource we do have is the Disability Support Programs and Services, also known as DSPS. If you have any of the following, right, disability, IEP, 504 plan in high school, and need accommodation and support in the classroom, right, we do ask that you connect with our DSPS office in advance so they can help you get those accommodations settled before you start the semester, okay? So unlike high school, your information does not transfer over to us. You will need to let us know that you need these services and support and accommodations for us to provide you with that. Again, we also have free tutoring services for our student in the Learning Resource Center, as mentioned earlier in our orientation session. We have a math center, which is in person, and an English and writing center, which is also in person. These, again, are drop-in, and most of our tutors are student as well. So it's going to be peer-to-peer tutoring services. They also have tutoring services that support all subjects as well, not just math and reading, writing. And then we also have our Penji, which is our CRC online tutoring service. This one is nice because it is 24/7, so you can access it whenever you need tutoring services. And then, of course, your Canvas page as well, which includes a lot of resources and announcement regarding tutoring information for you to access. Again, the library is a great resource as well. They provide a lot of support with research database. They can help you with citation. You can request a Chromebook for the semester. You can also reserve study rooms for yourself or a group for you to study before an exam, finals, pop quiz, and then textbook reserves. So if you need a textbook for a course that is needed for a course, you can also reserve that textbook through the library. And of course, our library holds more than just textbook. We have a lot of fun books as well, like comics and novels and all those good stuff for our students to read for fun. So feel free to check out our library whenever you're on campus. And of course, we have the Student Tech Help, which can provide in-person support for you. They can help you navigate all your online platform as well, like Canvas and e-services. And then, as mentioned earlier, our Hot Cares, right, which is in Portable 8, providing basic needs for all of our students. Again, these are free services for you. You're a student who have access to this, who are paying for these services. So we highly encourage you to take advantage of these services. As mentioned before, we have the Hawk Market, which provide food necessities for all students experiencing food insecurity. You just need to be enrolled in at least 3 units, which is like one class. Then you should be able to access these food for free. We also have the Hot Closet, which provide professional clothing for students who are in need of professional clothing to go to an interview, for example. Again, we have housing resources, shower access. They provide personal and hygiene items for students as well. We also have emergency funds in case students are in need of cash, and a workshop series to support student and healthy eating, but also know how to finance your money, right? So a lot of great resources. I believe now another thing they add is that they're also loaning Chromebooks for students as well. So that's something new they add, but it's a great resource for you to just access, but also connect with other peers CRC as well. All right. So that does conclude our orientation. I know there was a lot of information about resources and programs and like our building. Do we have any questions so far before I end this session? No, I don't see any hands. Okay, so as mentioned, a lot of these, care conduct resources and information that I mentioned earlier, in our post-orientation email, I will be sending these flyers and information again for you to be able to access them. If there's anything that's missing, right, feel free to also check our website or reach out to us for additional information or resources about anything that was mentioned, okay? With that being said, this is my contact information. Feel free to write it down, take a picture. I'm just one of the general outreach specialists. We have 2 other wonderful specialists as well that you can also reach out to if you have any questions. All right, everybody. If you don't have any questions for me, we can conclude here. Thank you so much for attending our dual enrollment orientation, and we hope to see you at CRC.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Yeah, of course.
Thank
It
you.
was great.